Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds. So this is where I like to collect together all the albums that I've purchased over the past week and give you guys a little bit of background on it, sort of little mini reviews about the thing so you kind of know where I stand on it. Maybe decide if you want to go out and pick up some of this stuff. I get it from different places, local record store of course, but also online retail like Amazon, eBay, and more. So I got a nice cross section from where I get it and what I picked up here. I've got 12 things to run through with you, and we'll do that here in just a bit. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, if you turn on notifications, you're going to stay up to date on really cool videos just like this with New Music Finds. So as I like to do, I kick off with new releases here. And this past week, I had a lot of cool stuff that came out that was, just right up my alley. And the biggest one was the brand new Dokken album. I absolutely love this thing. It's their 12th studio album, first one in 11 long years. And I have to say, it did not disappoint. Now, I know, the elephant in the room, everybody's talking about Don's vocals, and they're not what they used to be. He can hit the high notes, and there's not quite as much variedness, peaks and valleys or whatever you want to call it, in his vocal range as he's doing things. So it's a much more even keel, but I will say this. As a whole, on the album, he sings in that same even register the whole time. And for this album, it sounds great. He sounds good singing because he's not trying to sing in a register that he can't, so there's no straining on it. Musically on here, it's fantastic. I mean, the songs are written and co-written by Dokken and John Levin. There's no cover songs, so all 10 are original songs on here. And in my opinion, they have outdone themselves. I stand by what I said in my review. I still think this is their best album since 1987's Back for the Attack. I know some of you guys disagree with me on that. That is okay, but I think this album is really good. Highly recommend checking it out. Now, I have done a full review of that album, a 20-minute review, in fact. If you want to check that out, I'm going to leave a link in the description. You can get a whole bunch more input on that album, what it's all about, and that sort of stuff. All right, next thing up, brand new Doro album, Conquerors, Forever Strong and Proud. This album here didn't quite hit me the way that I had hoped that it would. I'm a huge fan of Doro. I will say initially with the first single, Time for Justice, that one hit me big, and I thought, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to sound like. Whoever's playing the guitar this go around is doing it better than I've heard in a long time. So I was very excited for this. But the one thing that has been coming in more and more with her releases over the last so many years have been this use of an outside vocalist doing that sort of more growly type Cookie Monster vocal that's typically within death metal or more modern metal. And I'm just not a fan of it. I like her vocals. I don't need that outside stuff. I don't need it any heavier than it already is. So that again is used on a number of tracks here, and it kind of brings it down. The second thing about the album itself is the mix of her vocals on this are way, way up in the front, almost too much up in the front, where the music sounds like it's in the background and she's singing up here. So just all in all, not a fan of the mix. The songs I like, despite that use of the growling vocal on a number of tracks. And the only other thing I have to say that I didn't like about this is the cover of Living After Midnight with Rob Halford. I mean, it's cool that she paired up with him on it. That song is too big and popular, in my opinion, to be the #3 song on this album. Put that at the end, put it later in here, or cover a lesser known song. They also turned it into a video. I just didn't need it. When I want Doro, I want to hear Doro. I don't want to hear a cover that she's doing. So I was a little bummed by that. I also just found out recently that the last track on the album, Total Eclipse of the Heart, which is another cover of a Bonnie Tyler song, that's the next video. So the first 3 singles and videos, 2 of them are cover songs. This is not a covers album. Promote your own stuff. That's my take, at least. I think the album is going to grow on me in time, but as I said, not overly thrilled with the production on it. Okay, I chose to pick up Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil, the LP replica edition of this, that returns it, of course, to its original Pentagram album cover, and those 4 pictures that were on the outside of the version we all know are now inside of it. They're using, I believe, the latest remaster, maybe it's even the digital remaster from 2021. I'm not having it. I'm not liking it at all. I picked this up more because it's the replica and I want it in the collection, but there's absolutely no punch to that version of the album. It's nothing like the Crucial Crew version. If you've got that one, stay with that one. It's got all the punch and kick and everything that we know and love about Shout at the Devil. This one here, it's just taken all that away. It's a very wimpy sounding mix on it now. I don't know why that is. I've been hearing that a lot across different new remasters, as they call them. Even the latest Van Halen box set of the Sammy Hagar years had some pretty wimpy masters in there, and just not sure what's going on. It may be a modern thing. It may be something that's different to my ears. Some of you guys may like it, but doesn't sound as good as the original stuff. Okay, next one up is the new Duran Duran album, Danse Macabre. And I'm pronouncing it the same way that Simon Le Bon, lead singer, is pronouncing it in the song that is the title track to it. Yes, you can pronounce macabre as macabre, Danse Macabre. And I think I would tend to pronounce it that way too, but I'm going to go off the way that he does it in the song. Halloween themed album. Would not have expected it. If you had told me, a number of years ago that Duran Duran would eventually release a Halloween themed album, I would have said you're absolutely crazy. What does Duran Duran have, if anything, to do with Halloween? So that was kind of a bit of a shock for me, but I like the concept and idea behind it. 13 new and old songs. It's got some reworked songs. It's got 3 new tracks. Has B-sides in it, so some rarities. It's got some cover songs, all done. And when they rework those old ones, they give it that more eerie vibe that you'd expect around Halloween. So as a themed sounding album, it's actually really interesting. And having dropped on October 27th, 4 or 5 days before Halloween, it's been a great, perfect release right for this week leading up to what was Halloween yesterday. So yeah, if that intrigues you, definitely check it out. The 3 new tracks are pretty interesting on here. I really love their cover of Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones. That one really stood out to me on this release here. Okay, next one up comes from a prog group called Pattern Seeking Animals. Spooky action at a distance. 4th studio album from this band. They're a supergroup of sorts, although I hesitate to call them that because they're all related to the band Spock's Beard. So not really supergroup when you're all just coming from one group moving over to another group, but they are promoted as a supergroup. 3 of the guys are current members, with one of the guys I think being a former member or stayed on as current lyricist or something to that nature. So there's some connection to all of that. But really good stuff. If you're a fan of prog, check it out. If you're a fan of Spock's Beard, check it out. If you like the past Pattern Seeking Animal releases, check it out. It's really good. It grabbed me, pulled me right in. I thought that it would when I was doing the What Just Dropped episode, which is when I'd just gotten it in, but I'm telling you guys all the great stuff that came out. I said, I hadn't had a chance to hear it yet, but I had high hopes for it. Well, it paid off because it turned out to be a very, very good album. Just pulls me right in. And next thing up is a tribute album simply called Metal Reimagined. Of course, that is Pink Floyd's 1971 album being redone, so you can see right there, tribute to Pink Floyd. This is on the Cleopatra Records label, so they've put this together, and it is in the entire album redone with cool prog people of the day and classic rockers, stuff like that. So we've got Graham Bonnet from Rainbow, James LaBrie from Dream Theater, Rick Wakeman from Yes, Mark Stein from Vanilla Fudge, Alan Davey from Hawkwind, and just so many more. They just really, really flesh it out. But I'll say this. First of all, it's interesting because it's actually reimagined. It's not just a straight rendition of it. And I checked that out before picking it up, so I knew that. The last one that they called Reimagined, the Animals release, I didn't find that different, but this one here has enough differences to it that it makes it enjoyable. What I do really like about it, not only is that the album artwork is intriguing and really pulled me in, but on the inside here, we get a whole write-up about the album, what it means, why it was an important album, why they're choosing to pay tribute to it, who's on it, how it was done, just all of that. Reading that made me not only like this a lot better, but like the original Pink Floyd album Metal even more, just knowing the background and the history and stuff. So sometimes getting a tribute album that really pays tribute and you can understand from outside people's perspective as to why an album is so great, can have an effect to where you end up liking the original album that much more. And so that's why I will tune in sometimes to tribute albums and things like that. New releases, but I'm not opening these. I did pick up 2 Christmas albums, just simply called A Very Metal Christmas 1 and 2. I like the artwork on it. It's got sort of an Eddie vibe, you know, Iron Maiden character. There's the backside of it. They're by Cleopatra Records. I think most of these songs, if not all of them, have been released in some version here or there over the years. But you know, it's got Enough's Enough, Happy Holidays. That goes all the way back to 1993. You've got George Lynch doing a cover of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra song, Christmas Eve, Sarajevo on here. You've got Tim Ripper Owens, former Judas Priest frontman, currently with KK's Priest. You've got Tracy Guns and Glenn Hughes on here doing a song. You've got Pretty Boy Floyd, Gilby Clarke, former Guns N' Roses guitar player, Helix, Faster Pussycat, Glenn Drover, just lots and lots of cool metal artists doing their version of Christmas songs or pairing up on versions of Christmas songs. So, like I said, not opening these. I'm putting these aside. They will get open on Thanksgiving evening, which is when I consider Christmas starting. But I like having a couple Christmas albums new for the year that I will break out at that point. All right, if you've been watching my videos from the past week, then you know that I hit up a Rolling Stone pop-up store in Union Square, New York City. And I don't know if there's any others around the US, but this is the only one. But the Rolling Stones have a physical store, I think that's open year-round, in London. And this was a replica of that store popping up here, of course, really promoting Hackney Diamonds, their latest album. One of the things I chose to pick up there was an alternate edition album cover of Hackney Diamonds with the tongue on it, designed by particular artists that they had paired up with for the store itself, that did a whole bunch of design of shirts and other different memorabilia type things, as well as this alternate album artwork. So nothing different musically on it, but you can see it's just got you know, different, everything is a little bit different about this. So I chose to pick that up. It was same price as a normal release, so I wasn't paying anything crazy to get an alternate edition. All right, I went to one of my local record stores, but this one in New York City, Academy Records picked up Night Demon, one of their albums. I think this is maybe the second album, Darkness Remains, and really fell in love with this. I've got the latest 2023 album, which is good. That's the first one I started with, but I have to say this one, in my opinion, blows that one away. I think this is 2017 and really, really loving it. If you're a fan of Iron Maiden and new wave of British heavy metal style music, then definitely check out some Night Demon. Really, really good. Now, because I picked that up, I went online to see if there was any other stuff that I could order. And I think it's the debut album. That one is out of print or just very hard to come by. There is a live album. Didn't want to go for that, but I found this, Year of the Demon. And it collects together all of the singles. I think they were released as 7-inches 45s, 5 of them, and so it's got the A side and the B side, and it collects them up on one CD, all from 2020 or yeah, I think it's 2020 or 2021 when they were all released, but it collects them all up onto a CD. So that was pretty cool to get some fairly current stuff, but also some rare stuff that normally I wouldn't have an opportunity to hear, not wanting to pick up all those individual 7 inches and 45s. So gathering it all together, and that's pretty cool. This one actually has a couple live tracks on it. It's got the song In Trance, originally done by the Scorpions, and then it's got top of the bill is a live track, Wasted Years, the other Iron Maiden track on here. So not only do they kind of have that sound to start with, but then having them do a cover of an Iron Maiden song really brings it home. All right, and the last thing that I picked up is a group called Ruff Diamond. A few weeks back or so, I picked up a David Byron solo album that he did, and really enjoyed that. And one of my viewers left a note to comment in there that said, hey, he was part of another group called Ruff Diamond, and I didn't know about that. So I hunted this one down on eBay, got a copy of it, original Island Records release. Clem Clemson is on here also from Humble Pie. So those two guys alone make it worthwhile and checking out. But yeah, pick this up. Had never seen it on vinyl even, so to be able to find it on CD was pretty cool, because you guys know that is my preferred format. So there you go. Those are the 12 things that I picked up over this past week. As I said, quite a varied swath of stuff there, from everything from classic rock into heavy metal and some prog rock and some glam metal and you name it. But I'm a fan of all that sort of stuff, so it works for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, maybe found some stuff that you enjoyed hearing the review, or helped you make a decision on it, or something you didn't know that was out there and you can go search out. Either way, let me know the things that you chose to pick up, your big hot find from the past week, and we'll go from there. Take care, everyone. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.